3 million enterprises, 12 trillion euro in revenue, value, which equals 4% of the European GDP. Europe's cultural and creative industries are large, diverse, and one of the most dynamic economic sectors on our continent. From architecture, fashion, theatre, film and design to the gaming and software industry, creative entrepreneurs are changing our entire social landscape and are also a driving force for business and politics. Digitalization, climate change, and last but not least, the corona pandemic show how important new solutions and creative approaches are in order to meet the challenges of the future. How can we best harness the potential of cultural and creative industries? The European Creative Industries Summit will discuss issues such as these. For the past decade, more than 200 experts from all over Europe have been coming together every year to discuss conditions in Europe's cultural and creative industries. This year, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy is hosting the conference. And even though most of this year's summit will take place online, let's talk together. Develop creative solutions and future perspectives that will lead us out of this crisis to new opportunities. The European Creative Industries Summit, framing creative futures.
Well, hello everybody. I'm so pleased to see you all. I can't see you, but I know you're there somewhere in the ether. As you all know, this is part of the Reframing Creative Futures series of events that has its highlight on the 28th of October. And we've already had one session already on the 4th of September, which was about solidarity, not charity was the title. And there are 5 sessions in total which prepare for this final one on the 28th. Now, this is the second one. Creative industries meet creative bureaucracy. We'll explain that in a minute. The other ones are to do with creative culture and creative industries. What sort of innovations can help us through the crisis? Another one is about innovations that might lead to sustainability. And the final one before the big event is innovations in relation to education and skills. A tiny word about creative bureaucracy, because we're part of also, and we're a partner, thank God, that's wonderful, I love that, with all of you, with our festival, which has been going on this is the 4th day, and so far we've had 10,000 unique visitors, so we're pleased, we're anxious, we always have anxiety every day that things won't work, but let's forget all of that. Now, just very briefly, what the creative bureaucracy is in essence, it's essentially trying to create a new culture, which is more a yes-if culture rather than a no-because culture, which basically implies being more open, less closed, and so on, and being willing to experiment, acknowledging failures, and all of those things. It's a different organizational type. It's one that enables, ideally empowers, is participative, and so on. The 3 pillars it asks is, what is the incentives and regulations regime for now? How does that need to change, since we all know business as usual doesn't work? Secondly, how do you, and if you just think of Europe, there are 8 million civil servants. No, that's Germany, sorry, just Germany. How do you empower people to give of their best rather than being trapped in systems that might be too rigid for the world we are in? The third pillar is simply having a new relationship with the civic and business worlds, because to make good places, as you know, is a collective endeavor that needs collective intelligence. Now, what's the link then between that and the creative economy and cultural industries and all of that stuff? Well, to me and you, I think it's obvious We all know that the way the creative economy sectors and cultural sectors have worked have been very much the pioneers in how we operate in the world today, portfolio working, all of that stuff. Many of us know what home working was before we were forced to so often work at home. But that aside, clearly the capacity of the creative economy and so on to do storytelling, to develop narratives is precisely crucial now today in thinking through how we create a world that we all roughly like. The other thing is obviously things like gamification, all of the things that you know about. Now, just very briefly, I think many of you know that there was a call to innovators, and many of our colleagues who are about to come and speak later, and we all look forward to that, are people who've won awards, and rightly so. So, not much more to say about that. Perhaps Bernd will in a second. So, I'd love to hand over to my good friend. She's not that good yet, but she will be. I want to know her better, Rita de Greve. So over to you, Rita.
Leading agencies, funders, and intermediaries on local, regional, and national level to help them support and empower their cultural and creative entrepreneurs. We all share a strong belief in the power of the CCI and what they can do for a better creative world. We have a wide range of members within ECBN. Some are very small and others are very big. To give you an idea, I represent a rather large member, which is the Flanders Department of Culture, Youth and Media. And the topic of today, Good, Better Bureaucracy, is extremely relevant for my organization because creative bureaucracy is truly a daily challenge. And the past 3 years, our summit was invited by the EU presidencies in Austria, Finland, and now in Germany to contribute to the official presidency agency on the CCI. We are grateful for this opportunity, especially now in 2020, where the Brexit, COVID-19, and the final agreements on the EU multi-annual financial framework all come together. This is an extreme challenge because we see that the CCI are under extreme economic pressure and many stakeholders lost their jobs and income and their way of life. So there is really a lot at stake. This is why we cannot overrate the statement made by the German Minister of Economic Affairs and Energy to put this summit and its topics on the high agenda of the German presidency. And as ECBN, I would like to express our thanks to Minister Altmaier and all partners enabling this summit, especially ArtLab, Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft, Industries Commons, and Kreativwirtschaft Austria. Well, Charles, I give you the digital floor to tell us more about today's agenda.
Well, I'm going to be naughty because I know I'm going to hand over quite shortly to Bernd. But in general, what we're going to have some statements and discussions first, and we're also going to do a bit of a survey, Vox R. I don't know what Vox R is, but Bernd will tell us. We'll have some clips from paper, and then we'll also have clips from a variety of people and some of the big organizations that are doing slightly longer presentations here. And then we'll also at some point go into meeting rooms and have individual discussions. And I'm going to join you later, and I might say something. And over to you, Bernd.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Rita. Great pleasure and honor to have you with us today. Hello to the audience out there. Thanks for your interest in framing and reframing this kind of mindset we have about our future. We all know that bureaucracy, just as education, our definition of innovation, all those frames are now being renewed, questions rethought, and driven forward to rebuild a future after the COVID-19 crisis. And today, we will focus on the bureaucracy. As Charles wrote in his paper, now it is time for a more creative bureaucracy. Exactly now, we are transferring to our content debate. You will see a short clip on the green paper we published also on our website. So if you want to look in this paper, contribute, send us statements, please do so. But before we start the content debate on the green paper of Charles, I want to ask you as our participants where you are from. How international are we this morning? So here you see this Vox voting tool. And please scan the QR code and contribute to a little first interaction warming up. Because later on, just as Charles said, you will talk with our award winners in subgroups and debate at concrete examples how to make bureaucracies and administrations more open, agile, creative. This new mindset of the yes, but differently is something you can experience here. So please, then let's have the clip and the statement on what the green paper of Charles is about. Hello and welcome to our breakout session on the creative bureaucracy. My name is Bernd Fesel and I will be presenting our green paper in a nutshell. The pandemic wake-up call reminds us that our economic order is materially expensive, socially divisive and hostile to the environment. The now necessary transformation is a project for the whole society. So what then is my role of a cultural institution or as a creative economy actor? And what can I contribute? And what can my skills, my storytelling capacities, my design thinking knowledge, my ability to gamify help create a more resilient future? Just some of the questions ahead of us. And finally, how can public administrations contribute to innovations in the crisis and to recover from the crisis? We do not want to recover to the old, to the system which led to this crisis. We want to recover to a better world. This is an opportunity for a big reset. We want to signal to our civil servants that they often represent a hidden and untapped reservoir of talent, what we help to want to unleash. There is a vast number of unused heroes who make societies work. The public sector bureaucracy is not everything, but without one, not much can work. Administration is both about routine, but also about being responsive to changing circumstances and needs. The idea aims to help bureaucracy feel more competent and confident to address big cultural, economic, social, environmental, and political changes of our time, to address them more quickly and more efficiently. In this breakout session today, we are guided by 3 questions. What is then the incentive and regulation scheme to achieve that? How can we enrich the inner life of bureaucracy and empower people and the organizations to give their best, given that so often internal systems of bureaucracy are too rigid? How can bureaucracies rethink and refresh their relationship to the civic and the business worlds? How can administrations better monitor and adapt to quickly changing situations, be closer to the needs, not only with a delay of 10 years? To do this well, public servants need to work within a culture and a structure that is open-minded, to tap into their potential and to explore the best solution. It involves moving from a no because to a yes-if culture. This is not only about the technique of design thinking, of iterative workshops, or scrumming or agile management methods, though this is all an option, but it's rather about a mindset to think of bureaucracy anew. If not as a form of creativity, at least as an outlet of creativity, of change-making creativity. So welcome to our debate today and enjoy the panels with our experts. What kind of nations, how European we are today. So please have a look at your audience and results of your vote. I hope you can show this now already. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. And indeed, it's quite across Europe, from Malta to Finland. So welcome everybody. I now feel much closer to you all. And I have an idea who the audience from Malta could be, maybe one of our ECBN members as well. So now we will be heading into the statements, into the comments of our experts. The green paper of Charles has been commented, and then also we head into the presentations of the winner projects. So you will now see clips from our experts, and I have the pleasure to announce, first of all, the winner project of Mark Schlick, Creativity from Pirmasens. Mark is the environmental planner and city planner in Pirmasens. He is head of the Office of Economic Development and Property Management, and this all originated from him being a musician. So please, let's have a statement and see his winner project as a role model, as a learning model for our endeavor to make governments more creative.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Schlick, and I'm the head of office for economic development and property management of the city of Pirmasens in Germany. And I'm also the organizer of the International Infotainment Fair Creativity. In my workshop, you will get some information about how to organize such an infotainment fair like the Creativity in Pirmasens last year. I will tell you something about the challenges and obstacles you have to deal with when you're organizing a creative industries fair in order to present all the 12 branches of the creative industries within one place over 3 days and with a huge supporting program. I'll report on my goals concerning the creativity and about the effects such a project can have for your city and your region. I would be happy if some of you would join my workshop and if we could discuss on our experiences. All the best, Mark.
Pirmasens ist ja an diesem Wochenende die kreative Hauptstadt von Rheinland-Pfalz.
Es ist eine ganz bunte Vielfalt an Ausstellern, ganz kreative Dinge mit Hightech, Technik.
Inspiration, Innovation und Business. Alles zusammen gab es Mitte November 2019 auf der Creativity 2.0 in Pirmasens. Das besondere Konzept, alle Teilbranchen der Kreativwirtschaft auf einer Messe gebündelt zu präsentieren, sei bundesweit einzigartig.
Ich habe jetzt heute mit den Vertretern aus diesen entsprechenden Einrichtungen gesprochen, Wirtschaftsministerium und von der Bundesinitiative für Kultur- und Kreativwirtschaften. Die haben gesagt, was wir hier gemacht haben, ist einzigartig. Die waren hellauf begeistert und haben gesagt, jederzeit wieder.
Oberbürgermeister Markus Zwick hat genauso wie schon sein Vorgänger OB-AD Dr. Bernhard Mattheis früh erkannt, welche Chancen und Möglichkeiten eine Stadt hat, wenn sie auf kreative Köpfe in der Region setzen.
Pirmasens ist hier sehr früh an dieses Thema herangegangen und insoweit symbolisiert die Creativity, dass hier in Pirmasens stattfindet, auch die Stärke, die Kraft und die Kreativität von Pirmasens in der Südwestpfalz.
Dass die Impulse der Creativity nicht an der Stadtgrenze Halt machen, sah auch Landrätin Susanne Ganster.
Die Creativity ist ganz entscheidend für die gesamte Region, also weit über Pirmasens hinaus. Und es zeigt sich hier auch, dass es ja eine Messe ist, die auch unter Unterstützung der anderen Wirtschaftsfördern einfach auch geleistet wird. Super ist einfach, dass Marc Schlick hier als Motor das Ganze voranbringt und die kreativen Köpfe zusammenbringt.
Staatssekretärin Daniela Schmidt war extra aus Mainz angereist, um sich die Creativity in Pirmasens anzusehen. Eine Selbstverständlichkeit für sie.
Ich bin sehr, sehr gerne zur zweiten Creativity gekommen, weil ich es ein ganz super Konzept finde. Bin mit dem Marc Schlick jetzt schon seit Jahren im Austausch und deswegen haben wir uns vom Wirtschaftsministerium entschieden, die erste Creativity gemeinsam mit ins Leben zu rufen, zu unterstützen, und deswegen war ich voller Vorfreude, jetzt heute wieder nach Pirmasens zu kommen.
Mark, for this presentation. Now you saw an example of how social impact and entrepreneur impact innovation, an interaction which is also focused on citizen and entrepreneurs, is a model also to change governance and administration, bureaucracy, working with those at those intersections. And now we present a different model, which was also selected to present it here and awarded, a more structural innovation of how to produce innovation. This is presented by Theo Hauenstein from Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft. He studied and has a master degree in cultural management at the Hamburg University of Music and Drama. And he studied also business administration at the Leuphana Universität in Lüneburg. He's responsible at this cross-innovation hub for partnerships and corporations. So show the clip, please.
Hello, my name is Theo and I'm working for the Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft, a public institution from the city of Hamburg. The Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft was founded in 2010 and is one of the oldest institutions to support the creative industries in Germany. Since 3.5 years, we have been implementing a cross-innovation process, the Cross-Innovation Hub, where we are bringing together people from the public institutions, from the economies, with people from creative economies, to solve complex problems. We believe in that way of innovation because our current world has changed. These changing conditions requires new skills and competencies to solve the problems in today's world. While our previous economic success was mainly based on strict rational and logical thinking, dealing with the VUCA world requires new, open, flexible and often unusual ways of thinking and acting to master challenges. That's why knowledge or innovation is not only created by classical research and development, but also by the recombination or the synthesis of existing fields of knowledge. Based on that insight, we approach innovation in a new way to solve the problems of the 21st century.
Kreative bringen ganz selbstverständlich und laufend neue Produkte und Dienstleistungen in die Welt und können ganz neue Branchen anschieben und mit ihrem Know-how ganz viele Dinge voranbringen. Und wir sehen einfach ein großes Potenzial darin, branchenübergreifend und mit verschiedenen Kompetenzen zusammenzuarbeiten und gerade in der frühen Innovationsphase neue Ideen gemeinsam zu entwickeln.
Mit dem Cross Innovation Lab schaffen wir einen Experimentierraum, in dem Kreativschaffende aus den unterschiedlichsten Bereichen mit Akteuren aus Unternehmen zusammenarbeiten, um gemeinsam auf Augenhöhe Lösungen zu entwickeln.
Das Format des Cross Innovation Hubs hat immer sozusagen zwei Ziele. Zum einen konkrete Ergebnisse aus dieser Zusammenarbeit zu erzielen, zum anderen zu lernen, wie organisieren wir eigentlich die Zusammenarbeit.
The motivation for SCT for participating in this lab is actually to get inspiration and input from others.
Mich zu vernetzen in Hamburg und spannende neue Themen zu machen, wo ich sonst vielleicht noch nicht war, und sich da reinzufuchsen, sich zu überlegen, wie funktioniert das und einmal aus einer ganz anderen Perspektive zu denken. Das ist spannend.
Es geht letzten Endes darum, dass man sich einem Produkt oder einem Thema einfach ganz frei und neu nähert. Und da bringt man verschiedene Kompetenzen mit und verschiedene Sichtweisen. Das ist das Geheimnis hinter diesem Lab.
Es war sehr wertvoll, dass wir Kreative dabei hatten, die sozusagen unseren normalen Blickwinkel, unsere normalen Herangehensweise eben so ein bisschen gechallenged haben.
Und hier war an sich die Schranke Designer, Auftraggeber völlig aufgehoben. Also man hätte sehr wahrscheinlich von außen betrachtet uns nicht die Berufe zuordnen können.
Ja. Spannend fand ich aber auch, dass sich der Kunde geöffnet hat. Denn am Anfang war das auch mit sehr vielen Restriktionen belegt. Und erst in der sich entwickelnden Zusammenarbeit hat der Kunde sich auch geöffnet und hat dann auch kreative Lösungen zugelassen.
Das Highlight ist ganz generell für mich, dass wir immer wieder in der Lage waren, die Ideen, die wir hatten, auf allen Seiten zu hinterfragen, zu verwerfen, neu zu denken.
Diese Verbindung, also dieses Transdisziplinäre, dieses Zusammenkommen in einem Rahmen, wo man sich nicht so kennt, finde ich tatsächlich sehr fruchtbar, auch für mich, so richtig Bewusstseins- und Erkenntnis erweitert.
Die Wertschätzung, die steigt, und die anderen Methoden, die man kennenlernt von den Kreativen dabei, das werden wir auf jeden Fall ins eigene Unternehmen einführen oder eintragen dabei. Und entsprechend ist das auch der Grund, warum ich das nur weiterempfehlen kann.
Ja, und ich fand auf jeden Fall auch den ersten Moment, wo wir unseren Prototypen gesehen haben, sehr beeindruckend, und man war schon stolz darauf, und das, was man in dieser kurzen Zeit auch schaffen kann in so einem Lab, das war auf jeden Fall beeindruckend.
Für mich ist es unglaublich eindrucksvoll, wie man aus einem so gemischten Team mit so unterschiedlichen Hintergründen mit Hilfe von solchen Kommunikationstechniken und Workshops einen solchen Output an Innovationen, über den Tellerrand hinausblicken erzielen kann.
Indeed, that's what it is. A great applause to this project, producing innovations in an innovative way. And here you saw another type of innovation which we selected to be presented. Now, the third project and statement will be yet another innovation, how administrations, bureaucracies work internally, innovatively, but also produce then different innovations. So I have the pleasure to welcome Sindre Wimberger. He is yet another kind of species after we had somebody who is a musician at first and then a media manager. We now have somebody here who is a service designer and is working as a service designer in the city of Vienna and is the boot father, as he said, of this innovation being presented now, the Wien bot. It looks like a product. It is a public service innovation. Please enjoy the statement. Show the clip, please.
In 2016, the city of Vienna was the first city worldwide to introduce a multilingual digital assistant. The Wienbot provides citizens with answers around the clock, fast, easy and direct via voice function or chat. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Wienbot became a key tool in the crisis communication. To relieve the burden on call centers and health advice services, the city used its digital assistant as a Corona bot. Through the use of artificial intelligence and interfaces to central data sources, continuously updated and verified information could be guaranteed. Currently, around 150,000 questions per month on the corona situation are handled automatically. questions about restricted opening hours, guidelines and protective measures, health and support are answered faster than Google. Because the Wienbad does not provide a list of links, but short, precise answers prioritized according to relevance or importance. With each new question, the Wienbot learns independently, saving time in the search for the right answer. Since all replies of the Wienbot are based on official and reliable data, misunderstandings and misinformation can be prevented.
To transfer you to our workshops, to the subgroups, to debate with those winners about their projects and what you can learn from them. You'll find the links to the working groups below the live stream. Please remember, when you are in those working groups, to mute yourself when you enter, also to raise your hand if you want to talk. And I hope to welcome you there. And then later on, we join here again together and have short presentations and wrap-ups from each working group. So you get a glimpse and do not miss too much by just deciding for one now. So please enjoy and see you a little bit again here in our live stream. Yes, hello back. Thank you for joining our subgroups and workshops. Thank you for our experts for debating with you. And you will have realized innovation is made by people, by persons and their passion to make it happen. For me, there's always kind of a golden rule if you want to make innovation. It's about the 3 Ps, you know. You need a project to exemplify and to roll it out. You need a process to involve people to make it happen. And then you need the people, and at the very start, a believer who really wants this, quite often also against all other people. Because if innovation is really new, you will hear quite often, I don't understand that. So that's not really an indicator that you're having a good innovation, but at least it's an indicator that you're really upfront, cutting edge, innovating. And then, of course, the nitty-gritty starts of making it really happen, which is a lot of detailed work as well. So I'm happy now to welcome Mark and Theo and Sindre back into our joint live stream. And they will give you a short wrap up. Mark, will you start, please? I hope your connection is okay. Otherwise, you just do it by audio, please.
Hello. I'm hearing some voices there in the room. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Now. Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I hope it too. I'm just by audio connected. Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead, Mark, and give your wrap up.
Okay. Well, the workshop was great. I had some people from all over the planet, and they were interested in our fair in creativity. It was brilliant for me. It was a nice. Okay, it was a nice talk, and I could help them along. I could help them along with my experiences, and there were also some questions about to make an event together, maybe, you know, in the future. So I will try to get in contact with these people. It was very, very interesting, and I hope maybe we can make a German finish or or another event in the future.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. This sounds already like rolling it out. after piloting it? I mean, that's always the dream of an innovator, to go, so to speak, into mass production. But how do you do this with the fair? Very interesting question to solve. So next on our list is Theo. Would you give us, please, your wrap up, Theo, of your subgroup, please?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a really great workshop with a lot of people from all over Europe, which are trying to build similar innovation incubators all over Europe. So we had a good chat about the processes we are using for our cross-innovation projects, about IP rights and NDAs and contracts, which are useful for these processes, how we involve our creative people in the processes, how we dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic. And yeah, it was really interesting. And I think we're staying in contact with some of these people. And if everybody of you is interested in this topic and how we are dealing with cross-innovation, I can point out our cross-innovation conference, the second edition, this time live in per video on the beginning in December. So yeah, thank you to be here.
Can you inform everybody about that in all the network, please, when it is? Yeah, Theo, thanks.
Yes, I will send it in the, I don't know, chat is not possible. It's on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of December. And yeah, you can Google Cross Innovation Conference and you will find a website. And yeah, would be happy to see you there. It's a free event for everybody.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you, Theo. You just gave us more nudge on another dimension of innovation. I talked about project, people, process. You just added with your phrase of the IP topic, also the dimension of the regulation, the regulatory dimension of innovation. And here we see at your cross-innovation app how cross-sectorial this really is. Now, the next on our list is our colleague Sindre from Vienna, please. You're still muted.
No. Hello. Yeah, some learnings from our workshop. We talked about our viewport, like how do we come from a simple content idea to a smart city assistant. I think one of the learnings was follow your idea, discuss less, try to convince and inspire with like prototypes, with visuals, with graphics. It's always so like good products always will succeed. And in a startup metaphor, I would say like follow the startup and try to be a coffee unicorn, like go into mass production, like you said, convince the management to build a real product out of a prototype. Yeah, what helps in this kind of communication channel, chatbot, voice assistant, it's like you have this raw interaction, this raw feedback mechanism, which helps you to like give put the citizens in the center of your product, because there's no filter, no like platform in between, no Facebook, no Google search and stuff like this. So it helps you like to go more, dive in with all the interests of your citizens. And then the third thing is like content is king. As we learned, it's better to build technology around the content and not start with the technology and think like content is coming from wherever. So content is the important part of a lot of digital products. Yeah, and at the last thing I would say, be a citizen yourself in public administration. Be critical to your own products too, and never like think you know exactly what the citizens want. So, like I said before, put the citizens in the center of your product. Thanks.
Yes. Well, those I listened into every one of the sessions a bit. I couldn't do it simultaneously with 3 things on at the same time. But what I liked about Pirmesens was simply, as you well know, a lot of this movement started in the bigger cities, and we know all the reasons why. And I just love the fact that here is Pirmesens. It has 40,000 inhabitants, and it's doing something that you normally associate with a very big city. So brilliant. On the cross innovation lab thing, I thought was interesting, and I know it sounds very boring, is this whole discussion about evidence. Of course, you know the evidence because you're experiencing day to day when people come to you and so on. But in this world of everything has to have evidence, I think it's quite good if one could just sort of find ways of just sort of summarizing, proving, and so on, proving if one needs it. I suppose I'm speaking from a British perspective where, anyway, you get the idea. And lastly, I heard all your discussion about, Sindre, about content is king and all of that. And I was so pleased you focused on that and just sort of said, look, I'm a techie, but look, I love content. So that's all I'll say. And so, you know, we're so pleased that you're part of all of this. So thank you very much, all 3 of you. Oh, over to Rita, I think.
Well, I'm back, I think, and I hope. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end for today. Thank you very much for participating in the session Good, Better Bureaucracy today. And thank you for engaging in our breakout sessions and taking part in the interesting debates. And I would like to invite you all for the session next week on the topic Coping Crisis through Creativity. Thank you and bye-bye.